Why is redefining wealth so important right now?
So everything I just listed, those are what I now call the 6 pillars of wealth. And those are the parts of your life that impact your finances even when you're not thinking about it. Because everything that we do connects back to how we relate to money. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a people problem. They have a faith problem. They have a purpose problem. But we think chasing money is going to be the answer. It's never the answer. You will still feel unfulfilled. You'll still be unhappy, and you'll still be broke, not just financially broke, but broken in spirit.
It has to work or it has to work.
All right, welcome to this episode of Circle of Greatness. I have somebody so special about to come before you. I'm talking about finance maven, mogul, boss, author, top podcaster, and she's actually the reason why I proposed to my wife on Steve Harvey. Without further ado, y'all, I'm bringing to you my friend, my sister, and just an all-around boss, Patrice. What up, sis?
What's up?
Thank you for coming on the show.
I'm so excited to finally be here.
Thank you for making some time. I know you traveling around the world. You living it up. So thank you. So I don't know if you remember, this something you did for me. I will never forget what you said to me. So, and I want to look at y'all for a minute because I think this is important. Like, I wanted to propose to my wife, and I was just going to do it on the local TV station. For some reason, I don't know what made me say, let me just ask Patrice, because Patrice was always on Steve Harvey's show, was a mentor, and they worked together. And she went and asked, and she said something, and it was critical. And I try to live my life this way because you said, you never know who got the power to bless you.
Yeah.
And that is so like you never know who got and I never forgot you saying that to me.
I can't believe you remembered that.
Oh, I will never forget it.
Let me tell you what I actually say.
Yeah.
I always say there's always someone watching you
Yeah.
who has the power to bless you.
Ooh.
But who are they watching you be?
Ooh.
And I remember having that conversation with you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't like I just went and asked Steve.
Yeah.
I literally put together the pitch to the producer and said, I know this young man. He's like a mentee, like all this stuff. And I would love to see this happen. And next thing I know,
it happened. I'm talking about it happened. I'm talking about within weeks or two. That we was on the show. I didn't pay for, my wife still got the same ring. I got to upgrade her. But that ring did us justice. On the show, Maxwell came out. They said, Patrice said, we got to make sure this right for you. Who your favorite singer? Maxwell. He happened to be in town. They said, if you had your dream, what would it be? All right, flying on a helicopter, land, and then propose. They said, well, liability won't allow us to do that. What's next? Well, I would love this. And they did that. So I'm happy you said that. I think I want to be more intentional now with blessing people. I think we got a lot of power to bless people. And I don't know us, when I say us, not speaking me, I'm not doing good enough job blessing people. Just because I know I can help you. Why won't I? Meaning I help people, but I might start making it intentional to help maybe one person, maybe a month or a week in an intentional way. So the other night I'm in my Uber. Met a lady on Uber. We're driving home, and I ordered a regular Uber, not an Uber X or Uber VIP or something. So I'm in the car. It was like 11:30 at night, and she was like, "I'm like, man, hey, how you doing?" Like, "I'm good. How are you?" Honestly, not good. I'm like, I was about to cancel the Uber. I mean, when you say not good, is everything good? I just don't feel good. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, all right, you good to get me home? Like, I want to make sure you're not so tired. Yeah, I'll be fine, but I'm just really tired. I'm like, why don't you just stop driving? She said, well, I need $50 a night.
Because I can't.
Yeah, I need $50 a night, she said. My daughter just got this internship, XYZ, and a single mother, I'm trying to figure it out. So while I'm in the car, I already knew I was going to at least give her the $50.
Yeah.
I'm like, let me get you off of this road. So fast forward, got home, ended up, my wife cashed after the 50. But while I'm in that car, where your daughter going? Oh, interning at Boeing. What she need? She need bedding. She need food to eat. What you need? My car just got, Pet Boys just damaged my car. So I went home, had all this info. Oh, what's your Instagram? Okay. What's your Cash App? I'm just putting it together. And I went online, I said, yo, man, y'all, let's just go in and bless this lady. I don't know her from a can of paint. I don't know, I'm just listening to what she told me. But yes, I could send her the money. But I want to do a random act. Can y'all all bless her? I believe she was able to get a few $1,000s. But she said, you don't know, man. You changed, that helped me so much. What did that cost me to do? It cost me 5 minutes of my time to be able to do something so simple for me, but could.
Yeah, life-changing. She'll never forget that moment.
Yeah, and imagine a week late, like she probably could have took off for a week, not be so, I'm in my car 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you doing that for me. It opened up. But you just saying it is like, I gotta be more, do more, I think.
But I think that you're already open to being that way.
Yeah.
And I don't know that it's so, strategic.
Yeah.
I think that you can allow yourself to be spirit-led.
Yeah.
Because people would always ask me to pitch stuff for them.
Yeah.
I didn't feel led to.
Yeah.
So I'm also very clear that it has to be led. Like I have to feel led to give in that way, because I'm never doing it just for show. You walk by people every day that have needs, spoken and unspoken.
Yeah.
But we're all assigned to people at like divine right times. And you just have to be open to listening to yourself, to that still small voice, like, okay, this is it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because, giving is a wealthy habit.
Good.
It's just a form of sowing, and you're not sowing because you're trying to get back from that person.
Yeah.
But just because that's your mindset and that's your heart's posture, you're always going to be okay, because there's always someone who's also watching you who has the power to bless you. It's a beautiful cycle. It's a beautiful circle.
Good. Yeah. So when I first met you, you are and was like the leader in finances, just crushing it. It was you, like, let's say the budgetness. It was only a
Tiffany.
few of y'all, Tanya Rapley, My Fab Finance, and leading the charge on redefining wealth. At the time, it was around more so money and just really helping people understand finances. And I wish I would have understood. I wish somebody was showing me what wealth was earlier on. Why is redefining wealth from the money aspect so important right now?
Well, yeah, at that time, there were a lot of us. You mentioned Tiffany and Tanya. Well, actually, not a lot of us. There were a few of us. Now, there are a lot more African-American women in particular in this space. But 10 years ago, it was like the three of us and a few other people.
What made you start that, though? How did you get the...
Well, redefining wealth was born just from the understanding, Neo, that I was helping people with what used to be called real money answers. And I was so good at giving people on the Steve Harvey show, Dr. Oz, like all the media I was doing, the good sound bites on practical financial wisdom. But when I would speak on stages and meet people in the back of the room, meet people at the airport, they would always say, I heard what you said, but... And the but was always followed by all the other parts of life that were really impacting their finances. Yeah. And I had this moment, I was on the Dr. Oz show, it was like 2016. And I remember, Dr. Oz loves a good visual. I'm on the show. They're like, we're going to talk to people about saving on their groceries. Yeah. And we start moving these little felt pieces of broccoli from one board to the next. And that still small voice was like, this is not the truth about wealth as you know it. Yeah. You know that when you were on the bathroom floor in 2009, after losing everything in the recession, foreclosure, car repossession, bankruptcy, and you were scraping together change. After having a 7-figure business, you were scraping together change to feed your daughter. Wow. You know that this little board moving broccoli from one, that wouldn't have been what helped you. Yeah. When I was on the bathroom floor and I found that scripture, Proverbs 17:16, it said, what good is money in the hands of a fool if they had no desire to seek wisdom? So I started to really unpack, well, what is wisdom? Wisdom is knowledge and information, right? I started to really unpack it and I realized knowledge is just information and education, but wisdom is knowing how to apply it, right? So a lot of us hear all the information and then we still get stuck on the application because we don't have wisdom. And wisdom really comes through the doing. It comes through the communities, through being in a circle of greatness where other people are having these elevated conversations. And in 2016, when I was on the Dr. Oz show, I was like, I don't want to talk about money like this anymore because I know what I've been doing since 2009 when I got up off that bathroom floor. Wow. It wasn't just cutting coupons. Yeah. It wasn't just budgeting. It wasn't doing the basic things we hear all the time. I was working on myself mentally and physically. Yeah. I was working on my relationships, personally and professionally. I was really working on my faith, not just saying I believe in something, but making time to practice it. I was working on my space. What does my environment say about me? What does it reflect about who I say I want to become? I was working on my purpose, not just working to chase money, but working because I wanted to feel fulfilled and know that my life had impact. And then I could do all the things I had always heard about money, right? So everything I just listed, those are what I now call the 6 pillars of wealth.
Wow.
And those are the parts of your life that impact your finances, even when you're not thinking about it. Because everything that we do connects back to how we relate to money. It connects back to how we spend money, manage money, all of the stuff. Most people don't have a money problem. They have a people problem. They have a faith problem. They have a purpose problem. They're not in the right space. They're around people that really deserve some more boundaries. They have all these other things going on, but we think chasing money is going to be the answer. It's never the answer. You will still feel unfulfilled. You'll still be unhappy, and you'll still be broke. Not just financially broke, but broken in spirit.
Yo, I've had the privilege to help hundreds and hundreds of people all around the world open up their own profitable event spaces utilizing my signature formula. Number 1, how to find a space. Number 2, how to fund the space and how to automate the space. I've been in Atlanta, Georgia now living for 2 years. My spaces are still in Philadelphia operating, doing extremely well because we use the same exact formula that I break down, right? If you're interested in learning how we can help you, I want you to go to eventsspacesecrets.com, watch a training or book a call with our team to see if you are a good fit. Again, this is for you specifically if you're looking for other ways to leverage your money and turn that into other streams of income, right? I don't believe there's a better time than right now for you to get tapped into the information in the game that can help you. So again, go to eventsspacesecrets.com, watch the training or book a call with our team to see if you're a good fit for this opportunity. Let's go. I gotta ask you though, because you said something and you went over it. You said you went bankrupt. You did all of this from having a 7-figure business and going. How do you pick yourself back up? Well, what was the cause of it, if you don't mind? But how do you pick yourself up from a spirit? Because I would probably be embarrassed.
Oh, yeah.
I would feel
shame.
I would
guilt.
Feel a lot of, but you went and built another crazy, like how do you, they say once you do it once, you could do it again, but talk me through that process. Because somebody right now is going through that. Like I'm at the bottom of my bottom. I don't know how I'm going to get back. I'm feeling shameful. My business just failed. I don't want to tell nobody. Talk me through that.
Yeah. So what actually led to that is in 2007, when the real estate market was beginning to crash, I was actually in the hospital on bed rest. So I know you done had 17 kids since I last saw you. But you already know that if a woman falls down the stairs at 20 weeks pregnant, that's a problem. I got to the emergency room and they said, ma'am, I'm sorry, this baby's coming any minute now. There's nothing we could do. I did what I knew to do. I started to pray. I called and asked other people to pray. And what was supposed to be any minute now ended up with me being on hospital bed rest for 10 weeks.
Wow.
And then my daughter Reagan was in the hospital for 3.5 weeks in the NICU. So all this time, though, I'm watching the news, and every day the banks that I work with are closing down one by one.
Wow.
I have 16 loan officers and real estate agents who work on my team.
Wow.
I was a real estate and mortgage broker since I was like 22.
So you're a broker. Okay.
Yep, I was a broker. And so I have all these people on my team. They can't close any deals because the banks that we work with are not lending, and it's a whole thing. And it literally got to the point where I was wearing a little monitor around my waist to monitor the baby. And the doctor came in and she said, Patrice, if you don't stop stressing, you're going to leave here 2 years in a row with no baby.
Wow.
Because the year before I had a son who passed away after 5 hours. He was also born prematurely.
Wow.
So all of these things are happening.
Wow.
I literally had to ask them to take the TV off the wall because I didn't want to keep watching the news where they were talking about all this stuff. My husband at the time took the laptop away, and I just had a Bible, and I had a red leather journal that I used to write to my baby, and an iPod. So you know this is old. An iPod with like praise and worship music on it, and I just had to faith my way all the way through that. But when I got out, I also learned that the insurance company had dropped me. So that whole time I was racking up almost $400,000 in medical debt. Yeah. Ooh. So this is what led to, you know, losing everything, me laying the team off eventually and just having to voluntarily give back my Range Rover. We had matching Range Rovers. We lived in a huge house in Southern California, and literally we ended up fleeing. It was like 2008, about a year later, to Metairie, Louisiana, where I lived in a 600 square foot apartment after living in a 6,000 square foot home.
And then in Louisiana, ain't nothing in whatever part.
From one LA to the next LA. Yeah. Now, no shade to people from Louisiana, but it was a culture shock for me. It was very different coming from Los Angeles. But when you ask, how did I do it? This is where I think the faith pillar really comes in. And to me, it's not being like overly religious. It's understanding that faith, for me, has meant believing that all things are happening for me and not to me. So even though this was one of the worst times of my life, I still felt like it was a season. Yeah. And that's what keeps people stuck and keeps people down, because when they experience a setback or a failure sometime, like some kind, they start to go, oh, my life is over and all this. It wasn't fun. It was literally one of the worst things I've ever experienced. But I also used to have these mantras I would say. I would look at people in Range Rovers driving by me and I'd be like, been there, done that on the way back. I would go walk along the lakeside and look at the big homes, 6,000 square foot homes that reminded me of my house in California. And I'd be like, I'll be back. Like, this is a season. So my mindset is always, when I experience anything, even most recently going through a divorce after 18 years of being in a relationship with someone, 15 years of marriage, even though this has been a difficult season, I believe that I've navigated with as much ease and grace and peace and dignity as possible, because I'm like, it's a season. And in this season, there's a lesson. There are multiple lessons that I get to learn. There are things I get to discover about myself. And all of these things are going to come together for my good because I say so and because that's what I believe. And I think that Steve Harvey used to tell me all the time, you don't get what you want, you get what you believe. And I believe that it's a season. I believe this is temporary. And that's the space you have to be in when you're in one of these times.
That's good. I like it. It's temporary.
It's temporary.
Yeah. Ooh, been there, done that. If you had it and lost it, been there, done that, and I'm on my way back.
And if you've never had it, like, I see you, I'm coming. Whatever you have to create to declare for yourself. I believe in declarations, mantras, affirmations. I believe that words are powerful. And so whatever we speak, right? Like, our words are so powerful. We have the ability to magnify and magnetize whatever we verbalize. So choose your words impeccably.
So I know life, like you just said, going through a divorce. I don't know what that feels like. But you talked about redefining wealth before we started filming. You said earlier at times it was more so the pillars, the redefining wealth through wealth. Now for you, redefining wealth looks like you mentioned about finding yourself. I don't know if I really know myself. I actually have no clue. So the other day I was asking God, like, man, what do you actually want me to do? Like, I'd just be doing a bunch of stuff. I don't know what I should be doing.
You know what?
Still to this day.
I commend you for that. You're not going to know immediately, but the fact that you spoke life to that really gives God room to start to show you. But the most important thing is that you're not afraid to ask those questions, to interrogate. A lot of us just go, I mean, this is what I've been doing. This is who I've been. This is what people call me. This is what people know me as. This is what they said I should do. And we never question. We just stay on autopilot. But the path to authenticity is to ask questions. And when you start asking questions, and I believe as you do it, your questions get better and better and better, you get better answers. And I've been taking people through, this journey of what I've been calling redefining love, is redefining love of self, love of others, and love of God. Like, I want to understand for myself who God is to me. That's good. Because I grew up very religious, but not necessarily understanding relationship. And that being so religious will have you just doing stuff just cause, and you don't know why you do it. You don't really have an answer for why. It's like, my mama said.
Because my mom said. That's exactly why. I'm Christian. I believe in God and Jesus and all of that. I just believe in God. I don't know how all of it works, but I'm a believer, but primarily because my mom told me. Too many things that be happening for me to think it ain't no God. God is doing this for sure.
And because of that genuine relationship, though, I don't get caught up in what other people think about how I should practice. Or, I've had people even on my platform say, But as Christians, and I say, but I'm called to love everybody. I'm not called to just Christians. The message of redefining wealth and anything else that God puts on my heart is not just for people who look like me, think like me, grew up where I grew up, talk how I talk. My audience is diverse, and I receive that. I accept that. I embrace that. And that's the path that I'm on. Now, if God calls you to do something different, worry about you. Yeah. But as for me, right? But, it was probably around, I would say I was like 38. So about 4 years ago now, where I really started to ask myself more questions about my faith, any practices I have, not just spiritually, but otherwise. Like, I called it an authentic alignment audit.
Yeah, that's good.
Authentic alignment. And I kept just going through my life, and I used the pillars as a filter. Yeah. And I'm like, are these things still aligned with who I am and where I'm going? Or am I just doing things because I've always done them? Yeah. And if I do realize that I'm just doing it, what other questions need to come after that? Like, but does this still feel good? Mm-hmm. Does this fit who you are today? Does this fit the woman that you're becoming? Does this fit the type of mother you want to be? Does this fit the type of friend you want to be, the leader, the visionary you want to be? If any answers come up as no, then I'm going to have to make a shift or a change, adjust something. Yeah. Some things I get to keep, some things I get to stop, some things I get to improve, whatever it is, but I get to do something different. I don't have to live my life doing what's always been done because I think other people think that that's the right thing for me. Yeah. I'm out of it's all self-awareness and intellectualizing and all in my head, and I'm more into soul awareness, which what's in my spirit and what feels right for me. Yeah. And so that's led me to make a lot of shifts and changes in my life. And I think that's why more people aren't asking themselves the question like you did. Yeah. Because if you get an answer, the thing is you get an answer. Yep. We don't always want the answer we receive.
Facts. So we talked about you do this with love, self-love, loving others, and God. What are some of these questions I'm supposed to be asking myself? Is it the same framework you get everybody you showing to do this, or am I asking a different question because I'm at a different spot? Like, walk me through trying to figure myself out.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the first things that you could do is just take note of what agitates you. Okay. Like, what's something that just irritates you? What frustrates you?
Like, I don't got no patience.
Okay.
I don't know if that agitates. What else?
You don't have any patience? General,
I got minimum patience. Success, love, speed. Give it to me right now.
Yeah. So.
I like everything my way.
Okay, let's look at it through the lens of a filter. Okay. So let me tell you. So the first pillar of redefining wealth is the fit pillar. It's about becoming your best self.
Fit, F-I-T?
F-I-T.
Okay.
Like mentally and physically.
Okay, got it.
Mentally and physically.
Okay.
So if you say you have a vision for your life and success, love, speed, and all this stuff, right? That means you have a duty and responsibility to protect the only vessel you're going to get. Yeah. Is there anything when it comes to your mental or physical well-being that has frustrated you, agitated you, annoyed you, where you are sick and tired of being sick and tired about yourself?
I guess my mental, I don't know. I got to really think because I never thought about it that way. I'll say this. I could say something that I stopped that I need. Like I used to dream bigger. I used to speak more life. I don't do it as much. I don't know if I'm agitated about it. I'm not. I just wish I did.
But
that
it brought an awakening. You haven't. So awakening means to rise from slumber.
Okay.
So you may have gotten so busy and so consumed with doing all the things that the thing that really ignited you to begin with, you no longer make space for.
The thing that got me here. I stopped doing it.
Okay.
Dreaming bigger. I got to speak more life. I don't do it as much as I once was.
So that's the awakening.
Got it.
Now you get to redefine. Redefining is the second part.
Okay.
So in redefining, if you were speaking life and dreaming bigger, what does that actually look like for you?
That's going to be more money, more opportunity.
Not what comes from it. What does it look like on a daily basis if you were to create the space to do it?
Getting up and writing affirmations again was something I used to do when I was broke. Money comes in, like writing affirmations again.
What made you stop?
I feel like once you get it, you stop it. You know, like my relationship with God is it's better when I got leaked, when a lot of stuff is going wrong. I'm like, God, can you, when things is going right, it's like, I don't even be, OG, I appreciate it. But when things going, oh yeah, let me tighten this thing up.
Yeah.
So I think for me, I guess it's like, when you get to something or you do, it's like, well, I got it. Maybe I don't got to be, what am I doing? Like, I stopped dreaming big. I dreamed of all of these things that we're doing and all of this, but I've been in 55 countries. I ain't dreaming or thinking about that no more. My wife, my mom retired.
Yeah.
Like all of those things that I was yearning for so bad and became obsessed. I got them, but now I stopped.
And you know what you get to do?
Redefine it.
And dream a new dream.
Yeah, I got to do that.
You get to dream a new dream. Yeah. That's what happens to a lot of us. We get so obsessed and focused on an initial dream that when we achieve it, then we just out here.
Yeah.
But you literally get to dream a new dream. Yeah. So yes, that was what you wanted in a season of your life. But now as a father of 4, right? And as a husband and all the things that you've created and you've amassed, you get to sit and take the time to intentionally think about, because now you're not begging. Yeah. Now it's not from a place of like neediness. It's from a place of true just desire.
Yeah.
And a lot of us stop dreaming when it becomes like it's not a need anymore, right? You've already seen that you have the power to actualize things. So why would you stop doing what you did before? So the awakening is, I don't do that anymore. And the redefining is, what does it look like to actually put that back in my day and be intentional about it? Because I know the power of it. And then the third piece is the actualizing. Who do I need to tell to help hold me accountable? Who are the people? Good. Like you taught me about the circle of greatness. I remember speaking for you back then, right? So who's in my circle of greatness? Who's in my sphere? Who can hold me accountable to this? Because I understand that every time I awaken to something that's frustrating me, I get to go through the process of removing that. And that's with relationships, that's with environments, that's with attitudes, beliefs, doubts, any of those things. When you feel that agitation, don't just let it be a fleeting thing, because a lot of us let it go on and on and on. And then we go, oh, I've been complaining about this or having this challenge for 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, 30 years. Okay, but when it first rises up, that's really the pebble. Yeah. Most of us want a boulder effect, right? Because the pebble is like the first time it agitates you, and then you get a rock thrown and you're like, dang, you know? Yeah. And then we wait for the boulder, and most of us are reactive, not proactive. Yeah. What I'm sharing is a proactive strategy. If you don't do it proactively, it's going to deal with you reactively. Yeah. You're going to have to react to something that went counter to what you truly desire.
Yeah. Jeez. So do this framework in every step.
In every pillar.
That was the self-love pillar that we talked about?
Self-love is more like a general concept that I've just been on.
What pillar did we just do though?
That was fit pillar.
Fit pillar.
Fit pillar, yeah.
So you do this across the 6 pillars too?
Over and over again.
What's the next pillar? We got fit.
People.
All right, tell me, so same thing.
Same thing.
Address certain relationships. Like, how do I build better relationships with people? What's the framework on
Be honest with yourself first.
Okay.
You build better relationships when you can really hold space for radical honesty. Because we can't really say we love people if we're not willing to be honest with them, not just about what they do, but about how what they do impacts us. And I think when we I know that when we become more radically honest and we can give voice to our truth, we give people an opportunity to truly love us, to truly support us, to truly encourage and engage with us. But when we're being fake about what our real needs are because we're trying to people please and walk on eggshells and, tap dance around issues, we really have this like root of like unforgiveness and bitterness and all this stuff. People can't please us. They can't really connect with us because we're putting a wall up. But the wall is there also because we're dishonest. So when we're honest with ourselves and we can say, like I've had to say in many relationships over these last several years, it's been like, I'm sorry that I created a space that gave you the impression that it was okay to treat me like XYZ. It's not even always the worst, but it's just something that I don't like. Yeah. So why do I have to walk around all the time, agitate, like, oh, here she go, here he come. I don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I can really create space to have a better relationship with you if I'm first honest.
Yeah.
Personally and professionally. So for me, it's look like not just setting boundaries, but enforcing them. It's look like, having uncomfortable conversations with people and not being attached to their response to it. I'm not going to tiptoe around and hem and haw because I'm not sure if you're going to like what I said. I have to say it. People. Yeah, because you can do that with love.
Yeah, I be letting stuff slide. Then I'm like, man, why not? I just got to say this to you.
Yeah, because we think that being clear is confrontational.
Yeah.
And we make confrontation such a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's really not. Sometimes when we liberate ourselves, we're going to liberate others in the process. They're going to be free to be like, well, now that we're here, also, I feel like you haven't been da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And we get to hold space for them to do that, because how much more intimate and genuine can a relationship be when everybody is just saying more of what they need to say?
Yeah, I don't think I've been a great communicator over the years with just certain people. It's like, even with, like you said, my wife, I need to communicate things better to her. Like similar to what you said, you could do the same to me. Like I did something the other day. She said, I don't like how that made me feel. All right, noted. Won't do it again. But I wouldn't have known that if you didn't say that.
Good for her.
Yeah, so.
Especially as a woman,
yeah,
where I'm going to assume that you're the breadwinner because you said you retired your wife, right? A lot of women in particular kind of get bullied in to just being quiet and getting along to go along when they're in situations where the husband is the breadwinner.
Yeah.
Because
bullied on, so like you
not by you.
No, meaning like you got to deal with what I'm saying because I make the money.
Because you make the money. And so because a lot of girlfriends and sisters and mothers and other women will say, well, girl, you lucky. At least you don't have to go do this. At least you that plays a psychological game where you start to go, well, I should just be grateful. So I'm not going to speak up and say, Neo, I don't like how that made me feel.
Yeah.
Now, that does show that you guys have a great relationship, that she felt comfortable enough to say, hey, check this out, right? Yeah. But I could tell you, listen, y'all can comment right now and tell me if I'm lying. How many times, if you've been in this scenario where it's like, I just have to go along with it despite how it makes me feel. Many of us have been raised and groomed to dismiss and diminish our feelings in favor of the facts. And the facts are, well, you don't make the money, so you got to just allow any old thing. That's not true.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Have you ever felt that deep yearning inside? It's like a whisper in your soul telling you that there is more to how you are living today. There's more than just climbing the corporate ladder and being content. There's more than how we've been taught to pursue wealth and financial success. There's more than just the good title and the house and the cars. There's more. I believe that there's a world of infinite possibilities waiting for you. And I want to invite you to join me in Atlanta, Georgia from October 6th through 8th for Redefining Wealth Live, where our theme is Meant for More. This 3-day experience is intended to help you get off autopilot, discover your deepest desires, and authentically manifest your dreams. I'm talking about transformational teachings, transformational connections, and transformational experiences that will help you create greater harmony, peace, and joy as you pursue professional pursuits, but do it with your desires in mind. This inaugural event is themed Meant for More because I truly believe that you were born on purpose, with purpose, for purpose. Do not let fear or doubt hold you back from getting in this room, even if you have to come alone. Secure your seat at Redefining Wealth Live by visiting redefiningwealthlive.com. That's redefiningwealthlive.com. You, purpose chaser, are meant for more, and I can't wait to guide you on this remarkable journey of true internal and external transformation. I'll see you in Atlanta. And it says a lot, again, that she was able to say that to you and you could receive it.
Yeah. I'm working on becoming better. You know, it's funny. I didn't learn nothing about love language. I wish I known stuff earlier. I learned about love language a couple years ago. Just got marriage coaching a couple years. I'm like, damn, if I would have did that sooner, I'd have been a better person because I would have learned.
Yeah.
Like, I've never known all this stuff you teach me. I don't know nothing about redefining and actualizing. This seemed like some good stuff you got to do with yourself. Because I don't think I know myself as you talk about all this stuff.
Begin to when you keep asking those questions. I know myself more at 42 years old today than I ever have. Yeah. I also love myself more. Yeah. I'm more accepting of myself. I can show myself more grace. There are just so many things about doing this work that have just literally, revolutionized who I am personally and professionally. Yeah. And now I'm in a space, Neo, where it's not about what you think. It's not about what my mama thinks. Yeah. It's not about what another soul thinks, because at the end of the day, I came into this world by myself. I gotta leave. My soul's evolution is my responsibility, and I'm leaving this world by myself. And ultimately, I gotta sleep with me every day. Yeah. So me disguising, diminishing, dismissing what I feel, what I want, what I desire, what feels right for me to the benefit of everyone else. The only people who are upset when you start to evolve are the people who benefited from you not knowing who you were.
Ooh, that's good.
Those are the only people. The only people.
Look at the camera. They got to hear that.
Woo. The only people who are upset when you begin to evolve are the people who benefited from you not knowing who you really were. Because no one who truly loves you wants to see you cower to the greatness in you. Nobody who truly loves you wants that. Yeah. There are people who think they love you, and there are people who love you for what you can do for them, for how you can show up for them, for how you make them look. But if they loved you, like unconditional love, genuinely, then they're happy to see the evolution, even if that evolution cuts them off from certain parts of what they used to receive from you.
That's good. Wow. Powerful, man. Yeah, you awakening me, redefining some stuff. You know what I'm saying? Any other pillar that you think, is there any pillar more important there, or this is just a holistic approach? You got to go through every single one of them.
You have to go through all of it. Yeah. Because they build upon each other. So you start to get clear in one pillar, and it reinforms why you need to redefine in another pillar. So transformation is not a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's a fact.
This is a journey.
Lifelong.
It's a lifelong thing. I check in with the pillars regularly. I do this authentic alignment audit. I'm always in it. My calendar is set up by the pillars. The way I teach and speak are by pillars. Like, you could look at my phone right now and you're going to see that it was faith, fit, like all the things. It's a way of life for me. It's in me.
Let me ask you this though. I feel like if you struggling, you going through some stuff, it's hard to focus on all of that stuff. You trying to figure out how to get some money. Like, how are you talking to that person that's like, Patrice, like, pillars sound amazing, but I'm broke. I ain't got it. I'm on grind mode. So,
and the thing is, you still think it's about the money.
Yeah.
And I'm still gonna say, I'm not saying that you have to spend all your days, considering the pillars. Yeah. I'm just saying you can even be like, okay, I'm saying that I really need to grind. I need this money. If I got the job right now, am I physically fit enough to do it? Like, when I wasn't working, I was still taking care of myself and learning different things about what my body needed. Because when I go to events and I speak and I do stuff, I'm in the back of the room. I'm hugging everybody. I'll stand for 2 hours, 3 hours, sign books, talk to people, all that. How can I say that this is the dream that I have for myself if physically I could not even maintain it? We praying for stuff that mentally and physically we're not even prepared to hold. So while you are working on the money stuff, what's wrong with going for a walk? What's wrong with taking a nap sometimes? What's wrong with paying attention to what you're putting in your body? Those are things that you're gonna need to fuel what you say you want anyway. You gotta fuel the dream. So it's not separate from the dream. It's literally like, this is what I say I want. So what am I willing to do in this area of my life, in this area of my life? What did we say at the beginning? There's always someone watching who has the power to bless you.
Yes.
But who are they watching you be?
Yes.
Sometimes we're so focused on the money that we're not honoring the relationships that are right around us. What if somebody is right under your nose? You've known them for years. There's someone on my team right now. I've known her for years, right? And it wasn't until we finally had a conversation about what her true like gifts and talents were. It was like, oh my God, I need you. She's like, well, I need you, right? And then we could come together. Now, I know what I was praying for, and she was praying for something. Working on yourself, though, and me working on the people pillar and how I show up for pillar could never take away from the money that I say I desire. I'm still right? I've rebuilt, like you said, a couple times. Yeah. I'm in a season of having to really rebuild because now I'm divorced, and lots of financial things came with the divorce and the separation. My net worth got cut in half. Yeah. Stuff that I've been working on and building for years is gone.
How you feel about that? Because I was just thinking the other day, I'm like, I can't imagine when I'm making somebody had to take half of that. I was sitting, I'm like, wait, tell me you would get half? Like, I couldn't fathom it. So I'm just wondering, how do people get through? Now, I feel you a boss, so you know how to go get some coins. But I'm like, how do it still don't matter. Nobody want to just rebuild. I don't want to rebuild, Patrice. You know how you talk about losing it and getting it back? I honestly not trying to do that. Like,
no, nobody's trying to do that.
Power, like I ain't. Like my story, kicked out of high school, college, fired from 10. That's I want to leave it there. I don't want to say, yo, I lost it all, had to go bankrupt, and if it happened, God forbid. But like,
but this is why you're working on the pillars.
The pillars.
Yeah. But this is why, right? Yeah. You don't want to have that experience. So you're working on the people pillar. You're making sure that your marriage is intact. You're doing the things, the marriage counseling, the whatever, the being vulnerable, the listening, the honoring, which those things contribute to why you hopefully will never, ever have to experience that. Not because of that. You know, we talked about before we even start recording, just relationships and wanting to build genuine partnerships and friendships before you partner and all those things. That is going to contribute to that money pillar. Yeah. Because if that's in order and you have that genuine friendship with folks, it all comes together. But I will say, you know, what did I start this by saying? Everything is seasonal. It's a season. So this hasn't been an easy season, but it's a season. I believe that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard. Like, the best of who Patrice Washington was created to be has not been seen yet. And that's just I feel that like in every fiber of my being, I've had great success and, you know, I've been on all the things, I've done all the things, and that's been wonderful. But that is a fraction of what is coming. And so even being in this season is like, okay.
Yeah, part of the process.
What I'm gonna do, make my mantras, affirmations, declarations. Yeah. I'm gonna allow myself to dream a new dream. I'm gonna keep doing the things. A part of the new dream, I'll tell you. So coming out of having to lay off my 16 team members back then, that was very traumatizing. It was very traumatizing. And for years, I would say things like, I don't want a big team. I just want to be a lifestyle entrepreneur. I don't want to be responsible for all these people. It's too much pressure. It's this, is that. And I created a multiple 7-figure business, and somehow, because I'm still trying to figure out how I've done all these things with a skeleton crew, right? Amazing people though, who have supported me. But recently I started to see what it could really be. And I'm like, if I could do what I've done, feeling how I felt and being in a relationship that didn't always truly support me, support who I was becoming, and like all of these things, what could happen with the awakening that I've had and the way that I now move more authentically, and the impact that I know I'm called to have, in particular on women who are pivoting, transitioning, not just in relationships, but just in life, right? And uncertain of their steps. Like, what could I really do? Yeah. Knowing the magnitude of who I really am and how other people have always seen me, but I see myself differently. Oh, I'm going for it. I'm going for 8 figures. I've been 7 figures for a minute. Like, and it was good. It was comfortable. It was like, this is what I know to do. I can make it happen. But now I'm like clarifying roles and, bringing on team members and doing it the way I'm not afraid like I was after losing everything in 2008. Yeah. And it took me 15 years to heal like some of those things, but I don't know.
Fast healing? Is it the pillars too? Like, how do you heal faster?
I think healing is even a journey. I think there's so many parts that I have healed, but healing is an evolution. I think you're always peeling back the layers. And sometimes you can't see that that's the thing that kept you playing small. Like, even when you said, I'm not dreaming big enough, there's something else going on in your experience that's keeping it to and you've amassed great success. And yet, you know, deep down there's something more, but you don't know that missing
I
piece.
feel like I'm at the bottom. Like,
Yeah.
I got a lot of work to do.
Yeah, you don't know that missing piece, but as you ask yourself the questions, I believe it keeps coming. Like, you ask better questions and you meet people, you see things, you have conversations. Life is always speaking to us.
Yeah, that's good. So I'm assuming we're going to have a new book coming out soon.
We are.
Yeah. I look forward. How many books you have now?
5.
5-time author. Wow, I know I probably got a couple of them. 5 is crazy. So, P, I just want to say thank you for coming on today, and I learned a lot. I gotta go through your program. I gotta go through because I feel like, you know, it's funny. You know, people will call this fluff. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? like, but I think
it's the real work
yourself.
That is the real work.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, and you can't really do this overnight though. I feel like it's a lifetime type of.
I have clients that get rapid success in different things, right? So I don't want to make it sound like, because obviously I've accomplished all these things since then. You will get success. You'll continue to see, you know, things and have wins and all of that stuff. That's a given. But I do think in this like hustle grind mentality that a lot of us have, and then the Instagram, YouTube age, if I could just look something up, you can look things up all day long, but you and I are both coaches and you can tell people the same thing 15 times. And if there's something going on with them that blocks them from receiving it, they're not going to be able to apply it. You teach programs, you lead programs. You have some people that can take the information and run with it. And then you have some people who will sit there and hear the exact same thing. And then they'll be like, but what about, but how come? Well, for me, I'm different. Well, da-da-da-da-da. That's not because we ain't teaching, good friend. That's discovery that needs to happen. That's them needing to go through these different things and start to ask, why do I always do that? Yeah. Why do I keep making things harder than it needs to be? Why do I complicate everything? Why? Like, you have to ask yourself. If you don't ask yourself, you're going to run from program to program, teacher to teacher, guru to guru, and nothing is going to change for you. And that's what I'm trying to get people to see. I'm with all of it. I'm with event spaces. I'm with ATMs. Yeah. I'm with real estate. I'm with whatever is going to build wealth for you. Because all of these things can make millions of dollars. We both know that. Yeah. However, why can't you receive it? Because you have some work to do on you. And what I do is fill in the gap. So for all my friends that do things like you, I'm the other part of what your people need. Because if they don't understand why things are not clicking for them, I help agitate and ask those questions that make them start to peel back the layers so they can receive what you're teaching.
It's like, yo, you can't go learn how to make this money if you can't even believe in yourself. We got to fix that problem first. I can show you all day how to go make some money, but if you ain't believe, don't got no work ethic,
your relationships are trash. People don't trust you.
Yeah.
You don't trust people. You can't set and enforce boundaries.
Yeah.
You're tired. You're worn out.
How you set and enforce boundaries? What that mean?
When I see something, a behavior, a pattern, a habit, something that someone around me is doing that just doesn't work for me. Like, it doesn't work. Yeah. I'll share with them, this doesn't, work for me. Like, this doesn't work for me. Yeah. But the thing is, a lot of us will say that to people, but then we don't enforce it. And people, especially when they've been accustomed to doing, saying, behaving however they want to, just because you say it, that don't mean they're going to change it.
Yeah.
So when it comes to enforcing, sometimes you have to remove yourself. If you're willing to repeat it. But also just be clear that if you continue to do something that I've shared with you, triggers me or really upsets my spirit or just does not allow me to feel safe, then when you continue to do that, you're giving me permission to release you from my life. Wow. I'm not going to keep forcing being in a relationship with someone who's clearly heard what I've said and has made a decision to not honor that. Wow. I'm not going to keep going back and forth with you because I have other pillars to work on.
Woo. Jeez, that's powerful. Hey, I can't follow up at that. P, let everybody know, leave them with a word of wisdom and how they can connect with you. Thank you so much for being here too.
Well, thank you for having me. Yeah. This was so good.
It was. This one of my favorite episodes, and I love talking about money. We ain't talk about an ounce of money, so this is good.
But the conversation will help people make more money.
A lot of money.
It is.
If you could get all of this right.
If you work it through it. Yeah. But, well, you can find out about all things Patrice Washington at patricewashington.com. I really suggest you come over and take the Redefining Wealth quiz because it's going to help you figure out exactly which pillar you need to begin this journey with, and also give you some action steps and some ideas, thoughts, things to consider for how you start implementing and actualizing this in your life. And on Instagram, I'm at Seek Wisdom PCW. So follow me, tag me, hit me up.
Listen, y'all, this episode, this is one of my favorite episodes. I learned a whole lot. I'm about to go redefine myself, redefine my wealth, redefine everything. So y'all, make sure y'all follow my sister once again, patricewashington.com. Go support her book too. Go get all 5 of them, y'all. Show love and just tap in whatever she got going on, y'all. So thank y'all. We'll see you on the next episode.